Hey everybody, it's Joel Marshall, and today is April 15th, 2020, and we are here for another edition of Lunch Therapy. Welcome to Lunch Therapy. This is the show where we take a break from all the crazy shit that's going on and we just have fun. We relax. We're excited. I'm wearing my Homeboy Industries shirt. Homeboy Industries is it's an organization. Their slogan is "Nothing stops a bullet like a job." So people, ex-convicts, ex-gang members, people, they help them out, rehabilitate them, do whatever they have to do. They have tattoo removal. They have a bakery. They have all kinds of stuff, facilities. There's a guy, Father Greg Boyle, who runs the place. I invite you to check it out. This is from their 10K, 5K that they do every year. And it's just a good organization. I love it. So today is April 15th. And, you know, a lot of us that's tax day as well. But I'm sure there's some leeway on that this year. But so what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths. I know I need it. So I hope you do too. So here we go. We're going to hold it. And we're going to let it go. Feel your feet. Press your toes into the ground, if they are on the ground. One more breath. Hold it. Let it go. What is this, a yoga show or something like that? Okay, one more time. Let's do it. And let it go. Yeah, that's how we relax. That's how we relax around here. You know, we got to have a relaxed kind of energy, right? A lot of us are cooped up. It's been going on for a long time. The quarantine thing is maybe not as unique or novel or funny anymore. And we're just like, how do we get on with our lives without becoming slugs or mushrooms, I guess. Just mushrooms just growing there in the dark. You can't let that happen, right? I mean, I'm wondering, like, is this just the next step to the Matrix? Like, are we now going to become these, pate gooses that are stuck in the ground and their heads just sticking out and they're growing and fattening us up? And I don't know, maybe they'll connect our brains to the internet. No, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to go in the other direction. We are going to be, we're going to learn some lessons here, I think. I think we're going to learn some lessons and we're going to go forward in maybe a better way. That's what I'm hoping. But for now, we are just letting our minds relax from that stuff. It's my wife's birthday today. So if you know Kamala Lopez, wish her a happy birthday. She would appreciate it. It's kind of weird, you know, having birthdays. My birthday, I'm sort of tyrannical about it. My wife, when we first were living together, I guess, she didn't understand that birthdays were super important to me. I like to have the birth week even. She had a job. I remember she had a job on the first birthday we spent together. She had a job on JAG, the show JAG. And so she went out to work, obviously, and she was there all day. And then afterwards, she came home late at night. And I was pissed. I mean, I wasn't pissed that she had a job, obviously. But I thought maybe like the next day we were going to have like a big birthday celebration. And it was like my birthday was just, gone. You know how it is? Like if it's your birthday and then you don't celebrate it and then you don't like designate a day that you're going to celebrate it, then it just kind of goes away and you got to move on to the next birthday because people are having birthdays every day, somebody's birthday. So I think we just kind of moved on. She didn't think it was like a big deal to me. And of course, I made it sort of clear with my moody, passive-aggressive nature after that day. And so the next year, she said to herself, I'm going to have the biggest surprise party possible for Joel. So and my wife, Kamala, she doesn't do things in a small way. She might be small, but nothing that she does is small. So she got a hold of my address book, and she invited everybody in my address book, everybody, to our house for a surprise birthday party. And you know how it is. You have an address book. There are people in there. Some of the people you haven't talked to in a long time. Some of the people you might even be in like some kind of a argument with. Some people you just have them there because, keep your enemies close. Or no, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. She invited everybody. So that was kind of an interesting. And also, some people in your address book might not get along with one another. And she didn't know that. She just. Yeah, so she invited everybody. And but that day, towards the evening, we went out to see David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. And I don't know, that movie is just one of the most confusing movies I have ever seen. I had no idea what was going on. Apparently it's a masterpiece. My friend Rania from Beirut, she tells me when I see her, have you seen the David Lynch movie, Mulholland Drive? And I'm like, well, I have. And she just goes on and on about how great this movie was. And I just have to think, well, I better see that movie again. I mean, sometimes you see a movie and you think, this sucks. And then later on you find out this is the most brilliant movie ever. I just was not ready for it. That happened to me with the movie Brazil. I went at 10 o'clock at night with a girlfriend of mine, and we were in college, and she didn't really want to see the movie, and the movie was Brazil, which is this Terry Gilliam, just crazy, futuristic, dystopian, hilarious, dark thing. And I didn't like it because the experience of sitting there next to somebody late at night, and we're watching this exhausting movie. And then later on, now it's one of my favorite movies. So I figure Mulholland Drive must be like that too. But that night on my birthday, when we went to see Mulholland Drive, I didn't know what the hell was happening. I mean, it's almost like you need to know the structure of the film going in. Otherwise, I'm just baffled. Maybe I'm not sophisticated enough. Apparently, David Lynch, when he wrote the movie, I think he was writing a television series, and then that series got canceled, and then he just finished the movie, and then it was a movie. Probably a lot of big fans out there. If you like the movie, let me know. I'm going to watch it again. I have since watched it again, and I did enjoy it more, but I'm still confused. So I was in this confused state on my birthday, and sometimes I'm just sort of even agitated on my birthday because I have such high expectations for the day. Impossible expectations that no one could ever live up to. Like, maybe somebody will give me a Planet of the Apes makeup kit and I'll be able to walk around like Cornelius. Impossible expectations. So we got home and we opened up the door, and to the left of me in our living room was every person I'd ever met in my life, including my parents. They came down from Seattle, and it was just this room just packed with all these people from my life. And it was and they all go, surprise. And it was completely overwhelming. Completely overwhelming. And you're just kind of, you're taking it in, and you're like, oh, there's that person, and that person hates that person, and this person and that, and I haven't seen that person in 20 years, and there's a lot going on, and I was kind of in a state the whole night, a state of panic and joy and sugar rush and all the things that come with a birthday and a surprise birthday party. of everyone in your address book. So I was utterly thrown. So I proceeded to get drunk. I started just, pounding back the beers or whatever. But I didn't get completely wasted or anything. I just got that was my way of coping back then. I don't really drink anymore, but at the time that was my way of coping with. I'm not good at having parties. I used to, whenever I did have parties, I always hid in the kitchen because something about the kitchen just made me feel better. And there's that stressful moment at the beginning of a party where just like a couple of people trickle in, and then you're still trying to set up and you're trying to entertain them at the same time. And I'm kind of a people pleaser, so I want to make sure everybody's having a happy time. Well, there was this one guy there. Let's call him Bill. Bill was drunk off his ass. Completely out of his mind. He was kind of a friend of a friend, and I had spent some time with him. A really interesting person, really great guy, but he got into that kind of drunk mind where you're just not doing anything rational and you're not saying anything rational. And his wife was completely sober, and but he was, and there were some celebrities there, and he was sort of, angry about it. You know how sometimes people meet celebrities and they're kind of taken aback? Like, you didn't tell me that this person from a movie would be here, and now it's kind of like freaking me out. So he got into that kind of state, even though, I don't know. So he started insisting that everybody give me a standing ovation. It's like, Joel, he said, no one's paying attention to Joel enough. Let's all give him a standing ovation. Let's give him a standing ovation. And then he took this garbage can that was full of all kinds of liquids and things and tried to take it out to take it out to the garbage and throw it out. And he was just, belligerent. And that feeling where suddenly somebody tips over into the belligerent phase. You're kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? And you're just trying to, handle the person while still staying on their good side, because they could turn on you, So he said, we're going to, so then my nephew needed to go home. He said, I'm going to go home. And Todd Lee says, Bill sounds suspiciously like Neil. That's my friend's, but no, it's not Neil. So they were all just completely, he's completely hammered. This is what I do. I look at the chat room and I see things like my sister-in-law on Facebook saying, hey, Joel. Hi, Joel. Hi, Heather. Heather is my sister-in-law. She's fantastic, and she's working on the front lines of the COVID virus. So please give her a round of applause. Back to my story. So Bill is hammered at my birthday party. Everybody's there. He's starting to get kind of dangerous. And my nephew says, I'm going to go home, but I don't have can I get a ride? And I had a few beers. I didn't want to give him a ride home. Our friend Eric said, I'll give you a ride home. And then my nephew said, well, I've got two, dogs. And Eric was like, fine, I've got a truck, or we'll get him in the truck and we'll go. And then Bill comes in and he's just like, no, I'm going to give him a ride home. I'm going to give him a ride home. And Christian, my nephew, is like, well, no, I've got these dogs. And Bill is like, I don't care about the dogs. I'll take them. And so they get it, and they're like, well, you're kind of drunk. And he's like, no, my wife's not drunk. She's driving. So they get in the car and they start driving. And that's the last I see of him. Until the police show up at my door. Party's kind of over. Police show up at my door. So apparently what happened was they got in the car and they were driving through Koreatown. My nephew was living in Koreatown at the time. And all of a sudden, Bill realizes there are two black Labrador retrievers in the car. And he freaks out. And Christian's like, well, I told you that I had these dogs. And he's like, you didn't tell me I had the dogs. And they pull over and they get out of the car and they get in a fight. And they're wrestling around and then the wife is involved and then they're fighting and all this. And the dogs run out into the street. And then Christian's all worried about the dogs and the whole thing. And he's trying to get his dogs back. And then they're all yelling at each other. And somebody jumps in the car and drives away. That was my birthday. So needless to say, that was not, it was a fun birthday, but not really the way you want to spend your birthday. I don't, hopefully, so we didn't do that again. We did surprise parties here and there, but calling everybody in your address book, maybe not the best. There's my friend with the elbow cough. And we have somebody coming in from Twitch. I love the Twitch. This is for Neil Phillip. It is Neil Phillip. For those in Twitch, you can throw out suggestions, and we do stand-up comedy. And we're just working some stuff out. We're working some stuff out here, trying to divert ourselves from the horrible catastrophes in the world. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is this thing that I have found out about, which is a way, I guess, of calming yourself. If you're getting belligerently drunk at a birthday party, you can maybe do this, and maybe it would, help you out. It's a thing called ASMR. I don't know. Have you heard of this? ASMR is it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And there are these videos out there that you can listen to and watch, and somehow, for a lot of people, it makes them feel better. And I've got an example of that here that I want to share with you guys and just see. I mean, does it make you feel better? How does it make you feel? I tried to find one that was not borderline pornographic, because some of these feel a little bit, there's be somebody talking in a very soft kind of breathy voice, and they'll be very calm, and it's as if they were talking in your ear. And sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Like the first time I saw one of these was at work. Somebody said, hey, you should look at one of these things. And I immediately turned it off because it just seemed like not appropriate. So this is somebody called ASMR Bakery. And I'll turn it up. I mean, maybe it's too loud, but I got to put my headphones on for this one. I don't know about you guys, but how does it make you feel? Is it helping? I mean, I feel pretty good. So, I'm thinking, you got to find ways to make money at home. And maybe this is a good, Greg Werdala says, please make it stop. Heather says, no. Neil Phillip says, it makes me need to take a leak. Let's listen to some more. Just a little bit more. Because, I mean, if they're getting that kind of a response, let me just stop. Yes. That was from a while ago before I started it again. Okay, we're going to stop. What I wanted to do, though, is I just wanted to try some myself. just to see if you guys, respond a little better when I do it, a friend of yours rather than the person with the really strong nails. So I'm going to start with a little microphone tapping. There, are you feeling better? And then maybe I'll move to some hairbrush. How's that? Is that better? I always get the delayed chats. So I don't even know if you guys like things or not. But, I'm thinking there could be a career. Because, there's a lot of YouTubers out there making hand over fist money doing this stuff. This is a fish. Greg Mertlis had it. He's had it. I love it. Okay, Greg, I'm going to stop. Although Neil Phillips seems to like it. He says more hairbrush. See, and Matt Wright, some soothing shit. So, I'll keep exploring and seeing what I can do on that front, because there is a career in it, I guess. All right, so I have one more thing that I want to talk about today. It's just a topic. The topic is cheating on tests. And I was having this conversation this morning, and I was trying to figure out, have I ever cheated on a test? And I thought of 2 times that I cheated on a test. And one was in elementary school. I was taking a spelling test. And it wasn't like a premeditated cheat. I was just like, I don't know how to spell that word. And so the Hardy Boys, Mystery of the Green Ghost, was sitting on my desk. Just happened to be sitting there. And I intentionally opened it to see if that word would be there. And I opened it up, and there it was, right in the middle of the page. And then I spelled it correctly. I mean, I could do nothing but spell it correctly after that. And I feel like that was the only time that I cheated, except in high school. I was in a typing class. And, it was typing. And I was learning how to type, which is probably the most valuable school skill that I have ever learned, how to type. But I was learning how to type. And there was a thing where she wanted us to make a letter, like a letter with a proper letterhead. And I had not really studied that. I just studied the typing. And so I did look over at Simon Coleman, who was sitting next to me, who knew how to do a letter. And I cheated. There, I said it. I got it off my chest. Mrs. Dwyer, I think that was her name. Yeah. So Matt says we got to talk about her, because one of the things that was great about I think her name was Mrs. Dwyer, was that she was so nice. She was one of the nicest people ever. And so she would always say, guys, stop cheating. Stop cheating. Come on, guys. And so there, I got that off my chest. But I did, that thing about the green ghost and opening that book, and there was the word right there. I think that was an example of intention, like really strong intention, and not really, winding up about it. Just saying, I'm going to open that book, and that word's going to be there. And I opened the book, and there was the word. There it was. There's only really one other time in my life where I had that kind of intention, and then it just happened. And that was when I was I was working for a law firm downtown. And this was many years back. And my wife and I went to the holiday party. There was a Christmas party, or a holiday party in the winter. And we all went, and it was us and the lawyers and everybody. And I knew that was coming up that day, and I was out walking around downtown on my lunch break. And I suddenly had the thought, I am going to win the grand prize at the holiday party. They had drawings, and there were all these prizes that you could win. And I didn't know what they were. I just had the thought. There was nothing in my head that said, no, you're not going to win. There was nothing in my head that said, oh, I have to win. None of that stuff was there. It was just it was like a simple, I'm going to win. I am choosing to win the grand prize. So that night I said that to Kamala, and we went to the we went to the party, and I said, I'm going to win the grand prize. So we put in our names in the raffle, and they pulled all the winners, and we were there watching. And we didn't win. We didn't win. Except on Monday morning when I got to work, and all of a sudden I got a phone call, and they said, yeah, we just wanted to let you know that you won the grand prize of the holiday party. And I was like, you got to be talking to the wrong person. They're like, no, you won box seat tickets to the Lakers for you and 16 of your friends. And I thought, well, that's great. And so I started figuring out who I was going to invite, and it was crazy because you can't invite your whole address book, right? You can't. You can only invite 16 of your friends. And it seems like 16 of your friends is a lot. So I started inviting people, and then they started asking me if they could invite other people, and then it became this like battle for the 16 seats. And it became this huge like a competition. And there were people like just raging, people that I thought could buy their own box seats at the Lakers game were just fighting tooth and nail to get the tickets. And finally we ended up with 16 of my most competitive friends, and we went down there to watch the game. And they had this like suite, and we were right next to Ice Cube, and there were all these, it was like right in the middle of the whole place. And so there was all this booze there and food. And my friend Eduardo is a hairdresser guy. I'll have to talk about him another time. But he came in, and he was just like, can we eat this food? And I was like, I don't know. And then everybody just started eating it, just eating. And I thought, well, for the rest of there's my paycheck for the rest of the year. And I asked the waiter, I said, who's paying for this? And they said, don't worry about it. It's all comped. Whatever, you can order whatever you want as long as your name is Joel Marshall. And that's what it felt like. Like the best ASMR you ever had. Anyway, that was a fun time. But that was just an example of like having intention, pure intention, without anything on it, and just rocking it. And Neil Phillip here says, you need to have Eduardo on. And that is so true. I got to get a hold of Eduardo. We're having guests on Fridays now. It's called Interview Friday. I just wanted to let you guys know about that. We had Matt Wright on last Friday. This Friday, it's a mystery guest. But it will be happening on Friday. And then also there's a podcast now. So there you have it. So I'm going to let you guys go. I was going to try and do it shorter today, but things happen. I'm going to end. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to end on just a little bit. I like to have a little bit of music at the end if I can. And it's just to showcase something that I like. And you can go and listen to the whole song elsewhere. I'll put a link in the show notes. If I could, I'd, just be playing music the whole time because it's so soothing and exciting. But I'm not a DJ. I'm a comedian, apparently. I don't know. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming. It was great to have a lot of people in the chat room. And here we go. Greg Allman, Midnight Rider.
I got to run to keep from hiding, and I'm bound to keep on riding. I got one more silver dollar, but I'm not gonna let them catch me. The Midnight Rider. I don't own the clothes I'm wearing, and the road goes on forever. I got one more silver dollar, but I'm kitchen. Whoa, the midnight rider